Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Vintage Lego hunting does pay off, and I've picked up a few interesting sets recently. So I thought we'd sit down, have a look through everything together, and I'll share a few thoughts on each of these as we go. It's a real mixed bag today, from vintage western to some classic space. And I also have a couple of Bricklink packages that should hopefully contain the final parts I need to complete the UCS Vader's TIE Advanced. So let's get started, shall we? I was in the United States recently, and while I was there, I picked up this little set. It's set number 6709. It's from the Western theme, which was also known as the Wild West. And you can find a variation of this box with Wild West printed here in the corner. Now, this theme lasted only 2 years. And we'd have to go all the way back to 1996 and 1997, which is a wee bit scary because that's 30 years ago. Though for some of us AFOLs, it probably feels like it was just yesterday. And that brings an interesting question to my mind. What do you consider to be vintage Lego? How old does it have to be to become a vintage Lego set? Let me know in the comments down below. Now, this set featured cowboys and bandits, the US cavalry, and Native Americans. And I understand it was also the first set to introduce realistic looking firearms. So revolvers and rifles that looked a little bit like they do in the real world. And it was in 1997 that the American Indian became a major part of the theme. And this set is called the Tribal Chief, or in the UK, it was called Big Chief Rattlesnake. So you could decide which is the better name for this set. It's always a joy finding these older boxed sets, especially when they're still in such nice condition. And this box is in a lovely condition. Now on the front there's a little bit of damage where I guess someone has removed a sticker. But apart from that, it is class and I am very pleased with it. The artwork on these older sets is worth displaying on its own. It's amazing how much character these small sets have. And there are beautiful photographs adorning this box. On the sides we have Big Chief Rattlesnake himself trying to get on his horse. And on the back of the box we get another image of our minifigure. The various accessories that come in this set. And on the top of the box we have a very majestic looking tribal chief. But I also have this set loose. So let's take a closer look at the tribal chief. And here we have this delightful set. It contains a bush, so we've got some foliage, and our rattlesnake. And let's hope it's not spooking this horse too much. And speaking of the horse, check this out. Isn't it fabulous? When we think of Native American ponies, it's those two-tone horses that come to mind. And that's exactly what Lego have given us here. And it is beautifully rendered. And they've included some fine details, such as the feathers that would be woven into the mane of the horse. And then as we turn the horse around, we will note that there's a symbol printed here. Because Native Americans would often decorate their war horses and hunting horses with symbols. They would paint them on using paints that they made from plants and natural minerals. So it's really neat that Lego have included authentic little touches like that on this little pony. And under the saddle, we find an example of the exquisite use of color throughout this set. The blanket is beautifully printed. I love the colors. The color match between the saddle and the blue of the blanket is really, really good. Really close. And I love all the design work. And for something that is 30 years old, it is still very sharp and bright. Now, when it comes to accessories, there are a few with the set. We have our spear, along with some feathers. And we have the inclusion of an axe, or a tomahawk. But the real highlight is this shield. Check out the printing. The feathers, the little decorations, that little pony. Now, as I think about Lego in 2026, I wonder if they made this set, would that be a sticker? But we go back 30 years and we get examples of fantastic printing. So Lego, what did you know then that you don't know now? What were you doing back then that you're not doing now? And I think one of those things is, for sure, you're not giving us enough prints, especially beautiful prints like this. And then we come to the star of the show. We have our tribal chief. And once again, an example of great colors. The headdress is just one of those really, really special and memorable Lego pieces. You can see his painted face, and then the print work on his torso with his shirt, and also leg printing. And once again, after 30 years, it still looks first class. I think this is one of my all-time favorite minifigures. It's a fantastic figure. The decoration and the printing is classic. And it's a great reminder of a theme that Lego only produced for a relatively short time. Now, let's move on to one of my all-time favorite Lego themes, classic space. And this is a boxed example of set 6826, the Crater Crawler, released way back in 1985. I am over the moon to now have a sealed example in my collection. I have a loose version, and you can find a short featuring it here on the channel. And a special thanks to my friend Jeremiah over in the US for finding this one for me. I love the box design. It's quite simple, but it's very eye-catching. This one, of course, would have hung in a peg to grab the attention of kids in the toy store. And these would have been very affordable little sets back in the day. Just 30 interlocking pieces. But one of the wonderful things about these boxes is that it showed you what you could do with those pieces. You could build the set that's featured on the box. You could build the Crater Crawler, but you could also let your imagination run wild, create your own space vehicles, or you could look at all the exciting toys this set can build. So they gave you examples. So you could just replicate the photograph that's featured on the box. And they packed a lot of play value into a little set like this. And this one specifically, the seat detaches from the vehicle, so you have a little hover chair. And this little crater crawler could pick up some speed when you got it rolling across the floor. I love the design. I love those big moon tires. Classic Space has such a timeless design. Instead of battles and conflict, these sets were all about exploration and science and discovering new worlds. And of course, for many of us, Classic Space was our introduction to the world of Lego. And these smiling little astronauts have become some of the most iconic images in Lego history. I have one more box set to share with you, and it's this one, set 6705 Space Explorers from 1994. Now this combined characters from multiple space sub-themes. So we have Commander Cold from the Ice Planet theme. Spyrius is represented with an astronaut, a chief, and a robot. And the robot is super cool. And finally, we have a Unitron chief, which I believe to be the rarest minifig of the bunch. The box artwork is very colorful. It's very vibrant. It certainly has that 1990s vibe going on for sure. And it's in pretty good condition. It's a sealed copy, and that's the way it's going to stay. It was a gift from a very good friend. I am proud to have it in my collection alongside all my other space sets. And as we do take a look at the box, you can see how the space theme has evolved over time. This is 1994, but if we go back to 1985, we bring in our crater crawler again, you can see the difference. Back in the classic space theme, very simple designs, clever designs, but for sure, it certainly started out with a very limited use of color. The astronauts, they were one color. We had yellow ones, red ones, white astronauts, blue astronauts, and also black. But by the time we get to the 1990s, things have changed. Things are a lot more vibrant. There's a lot of color. There's transparent pieces. And the print work has become very intricate and highly detailed. Very cool. You can think of this set as an astronaut battle pack. Alongside these sealed examples, I also managed to pick up a few other space sets, and I'd love to give you a look at those. First of all, we have set number 6809. It's the XT5 and Droid. And I think this is a great example of the wacky designs we often got with classic space. How would you describe this vehicle? I think it's pretty much a flying chair. It's wonderfully weird. It can be piloted either by our blue astronaut here or his robot friend. It's a very simple set. The robot, the droid, is very basic in its design and build, but it has a lot of character. A great printed slope. It's a lovely printed tile. And it's in very good condition. There are no yellowed pieces. And the astronaut is a great example as well. Very often the gold on the logo, this classic space logo, is worn away just through years of play, as it should be. But this one has a very bright and vibrant gold logo, which is nice to have. The set has 37 pieces and it was released in 1987. And a couple of interesting facts about this set, well, they're interesting to me at least. The first is that this was the only grey vehicle that was released in the 87 lineup. When Classic Space was first introduced, everything was grey. All the ships and vehicles were grey. As time went on, other colours were introduced. And then by the time we get to 87, this is the only grey vehicle in that wave. And another interesting bit of information is that it also happens to be in the final wave of Classic Space sets before it evolved into Futuron. Classic Space had been hugely successful throughout the late 1970s and into the 1980s. But by 1987, LEGO wanted to modernize and update the look. And that's when Futuron arrived. And you can really see the transition. And I have a couple of Futuron sets to show you. And this is set number 1620. It's the Astro Dart. It was released in 1989. And this set was only released in North America, where I picked it up a few weeks ago. It's a simple little set. Like the XT5, it's pretty much a flying chair. At least this time, they have included some wings that you can adjust for landing or for flight, and also adjustable thrusters. So you can angle them downwards for takeoff and landing, and then adjust them for flight mode. A simple, but again, charming little set. And then we have set number 6810. And this is the Laser Ranger. Or in the UK, it was known as the Speed Rider. A much more streamlined, traditional, if you will, looking spacecraft. Again, it uses adjustable thrusters. And I love this piece. This engine piece. And this time we have it in black. And you can see how the color palette has shifted towards white and black and blue. That transparent blue. And when you think about Futuron, it's those distinctive transparent blue canopies that come to mind. The vehicles and the bases in some ways became more advanced. And of course, LEGO, with this theme, introduced the monorail system, which remains one of the most iconic products they've ever released. But the overall philosophy stayed the same, peaceful space exploration. But everything else, the ship designs, and the colors, and the spacesuits changed. Some changes were subtle, others were more dramatic. And speaking of the spacesuits, you can see the big changes there. If we bring in our classic space astronaut, again, you can see it's a very simple spacesuit design. But when Futuron arrived on the scene, the spacesuits got an upgrade. So we have that two-tone torso piece. There's the inclusion of a zipper. The space logo's still there. It's up in the corner. And we have the inclusion of a visor, which is really important. The helmet design changed a bit. And that visor is important if you want to explore and stay alive in the vacuum of space. So rather than replacing classic space completely, Futuron feels like the next chapter, as though the technology has simply advanced and the explorers have moved further into the future and further into the universe. And it's one of those themes that's become incredibly nostalgic for many collectors. So I hope you enjoyed having a look at those little sets. And the last thing that I have to do today is to open some Bricklink packages. So let's get to that. I recently acquired the UCS Vader's TIE Advanced, but it is missing some pieces. So having inventoried all the parts and identified which pieces are missing, I have been on Bricklink, and Bricklink makes projects like this possible because you can buy exactly the parts you need. And hopefully everything I ordered is here. So I thought we'd take a look at that together, and there may be some other things in here as well. I had some parts come in early, so let me show you those. This is one of the pieces that was missing, and this is without question the most expensive Lego piece I have ever bought. It's the top of the canopy. Now, I guess you could use just a plain piece, but I would like to have the set complete. And to do that, you need this. There are very few of them out there in the world, and that makes them expensive. So I bit the bullet, and I bought it. But it was not cheap. And then the other element is the specifications plaque. Now this is the one that came with it, and it might be kind of hard to tell here on the video, but there is kind of a split in it here, and there's a bubble here that just keeps coming back even when you kind of press it down. Apart from that, it's not badly applied. It is over the edge a little bit on this side. I thought, let's see if I can find a better example. And this is also something that Lego would never do today, thankfully. This is a sticker over assembly, which is just horrible. So the sticker's applied on top of, I think it's 12. Yeah, it's 12 of those tile pieces. And that definitely affects the adhesion of the sticker over time. And you can kind of see the tracks of it there. So yeah, I don't like stickers. I don't think Lego should be giving us stickers. I think it's a premium product, and it should be prints. Other companies can do it. Lego could easily do it. And thankfully, with a lot of the UCS sets now, we are getting printed plaques, specification plaques. But that's a relatively recent introduction. For many years, they were stickers like this one. And I can understand this was the kind of the early days, and they maybe didn't have a piece that was big enough. But yeah, you can see it doesn't last over time. It really doesn't. I have other sets, vintage sets, where stickers are cracking and lifting at the edges. So I did think, well, let's see if I could get a better example, and I went on Bricklink, and one came, and I was so disappointed. I mean, look at the condition of it. This was described as very good. Do you think this is very good? It's not I mean, it's badly applied. It's at an angle, and a lot of the sticker has been kind of rubbed off. You can see the comparison. It's not as bright as the one that came with the set. So I guess what I'm probably going to do is I will keep this with the set. I'll get a replacement sticker from Brick Sticker Shop, and of course keep this with the set because it's the original. And then I'll display a specifications plaque with a Brick Sticker Shop replacement. I think that's the thing to do. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't describe this as very good. It wasn't super expensive, but yeah, not very impressed at all. So those are some of the pieces that I already had. So let's have a look at these packages. This video is going on long enough. And if you're still out there, thank you so much for sticking with it. I hope you find it interesting. And let's see what we have in this package. In here, so and these are some of the pieces that I needed for the build. So I got a few of those. I think I needed 2 of them. But I bought a bunch extra just to have them. And then, just to justify the postage, I also picked up a little collectible minifigure. I'll build him, see what he looks like. And here he is. A little cowboy. Dressed up with his horse. Doesn't quite go with our Western theme, but close enough. Close enough. All right, let's get on with these packages. So next up is this one. Everything. So a few things in this package. Again, often when visit a store for some parts to, you know, justify the postage costs, I'll order a few extra pieces or a few extra things, and well, yeah, so a nice little sticker there from this Bricklink seller. What do we got? Yeah, we got a Chewy as well. That's nice. That's kind. This is what I went to the store for. Some tile pieces, and so yeah. So I bumped up my order, and I picked up a snow trooper. It's usually when I am on Bricklink, and if I'm ordering something, I'll throw in a snow trooper as well. I have the UCS AT-AT or AT-AT, and you know, I've just been picking up snowtroopers to populate that set. I have no idea how many I have now, but I have a growing army of snowtroopers. I don't mind which version of the snowtrooper it is, because there's been several over the years. But yeah, so I've been building my snowtrooper army, so I ordered that as well. And this little Razor Crest from The Mandalorian and Grogu. Used to call these poly bags. You can call them a poly bag anymore because they're paper. Although they're not really paper, because inside the paper is plastic. But yeah, the Razor Crest, which got blown up in the Mandalorian TV show, but somehow the Razor Crest returned. So yeah, a nice little additional build. And our final box should hopefully have the final pieces that we need. And these are to build a new specifications plaque. So some tiles, some plates, and with this order, I got something related to some of the things we've been looking at on the channel today, and it is a classic space astronaut with a jetpack, which is cool. A nice little addition to the classic space army. A fun little piece. And it's a lovely, astronaut's in lovely condition as well. So yeah, that's my haul of pieces. So that's everything I've picked up recently. Apart from one more set, and it's this one. I picked it up in the States. It's a Best Buy exclusive or promotional set, I guess. And it's a brick-built Bo-Katan. I'm not going to say anything more about it right now. I'm going to do a separate video. We'll build it and take a look at it together. So if you'd be interested in that, keep an eye out for that video. I'm just whetting your appetite. But this video has been all about this haul. And I'm really pleased with all of these additions, especially the box vintage sets. They're always a pleasure to add to the collection. But let me know in the comments down below, which was your favorite? Is it the Western set? Is it Classic Space or Futuron? Or is the UCS TIE Advance much more your cup of tea? And if you've made it this far and you're still out there, thank you so much for watching the video. I really appreciate it. And if you enjoyed it, please do give it a like. And if you've not subscribed yet, well, now's as good a time as ever. It would be great to have you here, and I look forward to sharing more vintage collecting videos and LEGO reviews with you. So for now, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.